we're live. I have just received a distress text from Scott saying my internet died, which explains why he froze mid sip of his sangria or whatever that is. It is Friday, July 23rd, 2001, cheese night. 5:01 p.m. We are a minute late because of Scott. Um, Scott returned yesterday from Los Angeles, where he, you know, decided that the problem with his neighborhood was that you could walk places
Yes.
and you could buy things at from merchants who were not major retailers, and that there were terrible problems of public transportation. Like, for example, there was public transportation. And so, Scott, we are actually privileged to have here the new LA version of Scott, which is really different, I think.
That's so true. It's so you know me so well that you were able to just read me as if I was like an open book or something. I really feel exposed, but I also feel seen. So I feel both ways. I would just say that yes, I do. I feel like I'm much more chill about certain things. I think it may be partly the AirPods. I
Yeah.
think, but also I do want to say though that the fact that I'm chill doesn't mean that I'm not also critical.
But don't
Okay.
but when you say you're chill, don't you mean you're chill about some things that but not chill about others?
Yes.
Because like
So
I've always found in LA that like people, you go to LA and like people are much less worried about I don't know, the fate of democracy or you know certain things that stress us out a lot, but they all have eating disorders. They're
well,
much less chill about uh,
I'll, t-
making
I'll
sure
tell
they
you.
get to their next plastic surgery appointment.
I
I've
will.
also heard that left-hand turns are a very, very, very
And
horrendous deal. In
stressful thing. Yeah.
But I will say though, no joke, which is that they're totally stressed out and they have every right to be by climate change. Like it really is, you cannot avoid it. It's like I would say, like the fear of fire is like really front and center, and it looks brown all around. There's just real issues about water, having enough water. California's going through a severe drought, so that they're kind of very focused on that, which I think I think that's the well placed anxiety.
So
Um,
Scott, the big change in your life, as best as I can tell, is the acquisition of AirPods. Um,
well, that's not. It's just not. It is not just. It's not just AirPods. It's the kind of freedom and the protection against bullying that I've experienced at this
Thank you.
show, and it's been very.
He couldn't sustain it without laughing.
Yeah,
It was going to be good though.
yeah, right. I know. Okay. Oh, anyway, I don't know why I just laughed. I was thinking about something I heard in California. But I did have some. I had some views about how we might change or improve in lieu of fun.
Well, I think you should deliver them.
Okay, but I don't want to. I don't want to hijack the show or anything. So if we have business to conduct, we should do it.
I,
Um,
I,
Um,
I would love to hear what your West Coast meditations have brought.
I only want to hear them if they're
are,
accompanied by a PowerPoint.
no, they of course, of course, accompany with a PowerPoint. Can you please give me sharing abilities here?
You have them.
Oh, okay, that's right. Good. Okay. So I go to share screen and then I share PowerPoint a slideshow. Here.
So while
Okay,
Scott's
perfect.
setting that up,
Here. Can you see this?
yeah, we can. Okay.
Okay. So should I go through? It's not going to be long. And should I go through them now?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I just want you to know also that this could be painful. Okay.
Okay.
Ben, I'm not going to.
All growth is pain.
Okay. Thank you, Genevieve. That was actually really well said. Okay. So the first one, okay, here. The first one is, I think we've been engaged in a lot of HIPAA violations. Like when we say to people, how are you doing? Shit like that. I think that's like really, so I think we need to be careful about that. That's one. Okay.
Yeah, no. Can I say I think we should probably ask no questions of anybody because they might disclose medical information, or maybe we should have a disclaimer before each question.
I think
now I'm not asking you for medical information, but, and then the question could follow that.
No, I think I think that that's really prudent. So like we'll just begin everything with a disclaimer, a HIPAA disclaimer. Okay. The second one is less humiliating other folks about like things like audio problems. Like that's another thing that it just hit me when I was in California. I was hiking with my buddies, and then all of a sudden I said, less humiliating. Whoever it is, it could be Genevieve, it could be Kate. It could be anyone.
Can I, without asking you for any medical information, can I ask you a question about that?
Sure. Again, right, but like, don't make sure it's not a HIPAA violation.
Right. I want to make sure. So, no private medical information in the answer, please. But what's the proper amount of humiliating other hosts, e.g., audio problems? I mean, clearly we're too much, but is it like, are we at 160% of the right amount, or 105%? What like how much should we cut it by to optimize?
Well, the thing is, it's a great question. I have high cholesterol, but a lot of it is the good cholesterol, so it's not so bad.
Yeah, oops, looks like we had a HIPAA problem there.
Oh,
yeah.
That was my bad. There's like no question that was my bad. Okay. Okay. I feel like I answered your. Here's the next improvement to in lieu of fun. No, okay. Like you want to introduce this idea of like spelling cheese night differently with the Z and leaving out the GHT because you think it's going to be more fun that way. I think it cheapens it. I'm just saying. I'm just one person.
But what if we have a cheese night that's focused on cheese whiz?
Well, then that's fine. But then that's like as long as it's like that's not the way we bill cheese night. Okay.
Well, I want to bring in. I mean, leaving out the GH, and including an E, makes it like less,
dignified.
But it makes it more American, because we don't pronounce things nicht or in this country, and so it really brings it up to date and may make it more relevant to the youth.
But then are we going to be concerned with like lactose infused lice and like nits then? Because how does one pronounce that then?
Right. Well, right. So are we supposed to now have lactose tolerant cheese night and things like that? It's a slippery slope. It
does seem risky.
Yeah. My blood pressure's been really high lately.
Once we start talking about anybody's lactose intolerant, we get back to point number one.
It's so hard not to violate HIPAA.
It is.
Gosh, it is. Okay, now here's the next one. Next one is, oh, can I get reimbursed for that goat's milk, please? I just have not gotten, I spent a lot of money on the goat's milk, and you said I didn't need a receipt.
All goat's milk is reimbursable, as you know, from the Goat's Milk Fund, which is currently depleted. And I'm sorry, there's just nothing I can do about that. Um,
Okay,
you know,
we have to, we're gonna have to, I'm gonna have to sell some more merch because this is, it's really like I tell my family, oh, don't worry, the show is paying for like these gallons and gallons of goat's milk I'm buying, but it turns out that like I'm out of pocket on it, and it's like that's just not fair to them. I'm just,
yeah, I
I
mean,
mean,
I think uh, uh, this is why at the Yale Law School there are faculty budgets, faculty that, and I think we should
yeah,
have Heather Gerken, the dean of the Yale Law School, on the show to find out why Yale is not uh, uh, reimbursing the goat's milk.
okay, I will arrange that. Although I think it will be a bit embarrassing for you.
Well,
If
I
I
mean,
do if I do this.
if we have Heather Gerken on the show, we will have of course, talk about whatever private medical information we can get her to disclose, and the answers to that we will try to do in a fashion that avoids humiliating other hosts.
I hear you. By the way, I just wanted to say that like that's all Heather needs is to come on the show and engage in massive HIPAA violations
That's
by
right.
telling you, yeah, that's yeah. Maybe we shouldn't do that. Yeah. Okay. I just may eat the whole thing. I mean, that is I just may whatever. Okay. I shouldn't have brought this last one up. I don't think it was as appropriate as the
I
other
think it was a
ones.
little beneath
Yeah,
you,
that
actually.
yeah, it was, but Genevieve said I should. So I just want to,
It's
that's
on your
just,
mind.
okay. I mean, please take any of these under advisement. Okay. I'm gonna unshare now.
Wow. So let's have a poll of which of Scott's suggestions do you think would most improve in lieu of fun? Question mark. What was remind me of them in order? Um,
Uh, yeah.
Fewer
A
HIPAA,
HIPAA.
right? Uh, Less host humiliation.
Humiliation, right? Where
No
that's humiliating the
cheese.
post, not doing things after you humiliate people. But
No
um,
cheese night, and what was the fourth
the
one?
the fourth one was reimbursement for goat's
Oh
milk.
yeah,
Yeah,
reimbursing
I think Kate's here
for.
too.
I've tried to bring her in,
Kate.
uh, but she's not.
Oh no.
Okay, the poll is up. She is currently she is in the Greek chorus, but my efforts to bring her on screen have so far not succeeded. She is in the wilds of Montana, where rural internet, goes to die. Um, all right. So, but one person who is around and who has a matter to discuss with us is Mr. David Botts, who we have not seen in a while. So, Mr. Botts, whoa, there you are.
Hi.
What is on your mind other than Paula's cheese plate?
Well, we've got cheese plates. We have a dog. We have a West Coast. So
But no Montana.
little something for everybody. So the Olympics are kicking off, and I am wondering, what are you going to do? Are you going to watch them? There is a little bit of there's some controversy involved here in Tokyo, and I'm curious to your all's take on the issue of Olympics.
What do you think, Genevieve? Are you going to be watching the Olympics?
I think I'll end up watching some of them. I'm actually really intrigued by the fact that some of the journalists who are on the same plane as the athletes who were exposed to coronavirus are all being quarantined separately, and they're not even going to be able to cover the Olympics that they were sent there to cover. So I'm watching that story because I think that's really interesting. I think that it's also going to be interesting to see how the Japanese citizens, how their mood may evolve over time with the Olympics, and it's going to be a very interesting news story. But I'm a big sucker for the gymnastics, so I always watch that.
What about you, Scott? What's your and we're going to be polling the audience about the Olympics. Are you going to be watching the Olympics?
I will not be watching the Olympics, and that is not out of any ideological, political thing. It's just that I don't know how to watch it.
How about you, Mr. Botts? Will there be? Are you going to engage it at all?
I think I might dip into it. My dad sent me a note this afternoon, which kind of surprised me. He drew out an org chart, but I apparently am a very distant cousin to Gabrielle, who's running the 200-meter run. So she got the third fastest run ever in history. So that's kind of exciting.
Was she running away from like you or other members of your family?
She might she might have been
because I find that the people who have run fastest in my family were always fleeing the family.
It may have been a bearded issue, but I've tried to correct that.
Although I do want to point out that now the hair and the beard are exactly the same length.
Symmetrical, almost, yes.
Yeah, it's almost like you have a single setting and you just go yeah, and that's kind of cool. But that might be a HIPAA violation to confirm.
Well, you didn't ask me how I felt about it, though. So, Scott has something to share.
No, Scott. I just wanted to stop. Thank you for noticing before I had to cut you off. You didn't violate HIPAA. Go ahead.
Scott, are you happy to be home now? How do you feel about being home? Healthy?
I feel very happy to be home. I feel like I've always felt like an East Coast person, and I feel very happy to be home. I also am very happy that I was here to stop a bunch of HIPAA violations. So, yeah.
I, for one, am grateful. So anyway, really nice to see all of you. Take care.
Cheers. Susan Brewer, what are you doing for cheese night?
Hi, Susan.
Hey, how are you, Genevieve? Hello, chorus. I have to go quickly to the questions because I can't even remember what my question was. Oh, Ben. Oh, tell us about your appearance this week at the congressional hearing.
So it was not a congressional hearing. It was a hearing of the President's Commission on the future of the Supreme Court, which is I suppose, both more and less. It's somewhat more interesting than a congressional committee because the members of it are serious people, including a bunch who are seriously involved with lawfare. But is also a much lower stakes thing than a congressional
Yeah.
committee, because
Yeah.
none of them are deranged, crazy people. And so, there's a it was very pleasant. I and the other um, uh, witnesses, I guess, I'm not sure what to call us,
Participants.
commenters,
Yeah.
gave our short summaries of our prepared statements. There were some very uh, polite, friendly exchanges with commissioners, and I came away from it fairly impressed with the commission, which seems to be genuinely hearing from a diverse array of people about a diverse array of questions. And I have no idea where they're going with this, except that they do seem to be being very thorough about it. So, um, you know, I I didn't hold back at all, and I wrote a statement that I thought was both completely true and was not something that was likely to endear me to a lot of people. And I don't know how it was received by the body of the people on the commission, but none of whom are the people whom it targets for criticism. But it certainly it generated some interesting questions, and I'm sure it will be given the deference which it is due, which is to say none. Um,
Well, but I mean, we have to be careful. We're not violating any HIPAA um, things. But would you
well, I
be
mean, there
willing?
are those details of Commissioner Rick Pildus's medical history that I would disclose if I knew any of them.
Well, but
No,
what did you
that would be a HIPAA violation.
It would be
what
a HIPAA
what
violation.
did what
Yeah.
did you tell them? What did you say?
Well, let me share it in the chat, and I will. Uh, and the those who are interested um, uh, can read it in its entirety. The basic gist of my testimony is that uh, um, oh, it looks like Brookings has not posted it yet. Well, that's very odd. Um, uh, I'm not sure why that would be the case. I will have to dig it out. And there
Yeah.
it is.
While you're doing, should I fill dead air right now with right while you do that,
Yeah, although
Ben?
be careful that you
Okay.
don't violate the heirs.
You're
You
right.
call
I
it
won't.
dead.
Okay, right. I
Yeah.
will. Okay, fine. But I think this is a good time as any to tell everybody on the show, of course, and anybody that's going to listen to this afterwards, that I've never testified in front of Congress ever.
I once had a wonderful
I
experience
know.
testifying in front of Congress
Uh,
and being
so more than one. So which
No, this was a actual. I've testified a number of times, but this was a particularly wonderful experience with Louis Gohmert, who asked me and my fellow testifiers what, and I swear I am not making this up, what would happen if the United States decided to drone somebody domestically because he had become embarrassing after leading Muslim prayers at the White House. And I don't know why, but everybody else on the panel just ducked for cover under the table, and I was the sort of the only one left, and so I ended up in this protracted exchange with Representative Gomer about this, which was um, one of the odder moments of my career.
Can I just say that I would watch that, and I would watch it over and over.
Well, I
Do,
can't help you watch it, but I did. I thought it was so funny that after oh, I actually can help you watch it
okay,
because here
I,
is a link to it.
this is gold. Okay.
It was actually golden. And Bobby Chesney and I think John Bellinger and
Oh, this is great.
and Steve Vladek were all there. Yeah, it was a precious exchange, and I marked him then. I was like, this guy is going places in the Republican Party.
Yeah, this is. Let me just say, this is queued up even before world's most painful insect bites.
The thing
So,
is, it's actually like a true account of what happened.
uh,
And like it's one thing to ask me this question; it's another thing to ask Bobby. Bobby Chesney is a pretty staid guy, and
yeah, yeah.
and Vladek was at the time very young. He's I think he'd be more game for this interaction now, but so it was a fun it was a fun little moment. Um,
I'm gobsmacked.
no, just if you think I'm exaggerating, just watch
I,
it.
I don't, and I have saved it in my tabs that I will be watching immediately after cheese night.
Yeah, I
Meanwhile,
mean, oh, absolutely. I mean, I think that's what we're all going to be doing right after Cheese Night.
so speaking
Yeah.
of cheese night, we're trying to get Kate on, but she's in Montana and like the internet doesn't work there. Um,
Yeah.
Which is not a good excuse because it works in Estonia.
there she is.
Hi, Kate.
Hi.
You crack me up,
next to
Kate.
have literally just like an entire house full of chickens right next to me. They're all baby chickens. They're all
Did
running
you
around
rescue
being cute.
any
Can you
of
see
them?
them? No, they're all fine. Well,
No, we can't. We
they're
can't
gonna
see
be eaten
anything.
someday. But besides that, you really
So
can't?
to conserve bandwidth, I'm going to turn off your video so that you can talk, but we might have a chance of hearing you.
Okay, that's fine.
Do, do you have
Make them
cheese?
like chickens behind me. I had a block of cheese that was the size of the Montana for lunch a few minutes ago. It was roughly 4 inches by 4 inches by 15 inches long,
Wait,
and
uh,
it was just a lot of cheese.
wait, I'm sorry.
And
What kind of cheese was it?
It was cheddar.
Cheddar. Okay, sharp or extra sharp or?
It was raw milk cheddar.
Wow.
Raw milk cheese is always
Yeah.
better.
And what
Yeah.
do you think? What did you think of Scott's suggestions for improving in lieu of fun?
I missed them all because I was busy driving myself crazy trying to get internet. I did see something about
Oh,
HIPAA violations
yeah.
and goat milk reimbursement.
Yeah, they're right. So just to get you up to speed, I think that the four things were fewer HIPAA violations, less host humiliation. That is, less host on host kind of emotional violence. We have we have cheese night, but we not spell it with a Z and drop the GH from night. And the fourth was reimbursing for goat's milk.
Oh, really? Can't we get Yale to pay for goat's milk?
Yeah, well, that's what Ben. That's what that was Ben. That was Ben's
There's a
solution.
reason why I asked you to do this show with me.
That was perfect.
So
Okay.
seriously though, Kate, there's a really important aspect of this that affects you, which is where
Uh-oh.
two of these come together, which is cutting fingers involves both host humiliation, jokes about cutting fingers, involves both host on host violence and HIPAA violations. Because, you talk in some detail about
My medical procedures after.
exactly. And so, I think we like to satisfy Scott, you might actually have to stop cutting your fingers.
Right.
I mean, I won't. I'm like my own person, and I can do whatever I want to.
Oh, no, you cannot. No, you cannot. There's something called HIPAA, and HIPAA says you cannot ever talk about anybody's health ever
Yeah, I think.
on the internet unless Section 230 applies.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think that that's one interesting interpretation of HIPAA.
Okay.
I mean,
Okay.
not the most interesting one I've heard this week, though. But
Right.
that's like,
I'm trying to be scholarly. I'm trying
Yeah.
not to.
Man, we have some great audience questions in the serious spirit in which this episode is taking place. I would urge you all to take a look at the audience questions right now, because they are like mind-numbingly silly, and that's excellent. So we're bringing. Here's Mateo, who's got an actually serious question. Mateo, the background looks fabulous, but you're not going for a walk. So
I'm gonna go
pick
up. I'm gonna go get a chicken and then bring it inside so that I can.
What was that?
Have a chicken. I'm gonna go get a chicken.
As well you should.
Okay, most of us just say we're going shopping, but okay, whatever.
Okay. My question is
No
for
pressure.
Genevieve. I'm wondering what led you to.
Try that one again, because
Yeah.
you froze right in the middle of it, like
One more
Scott
time.
with a glass of sangria.
Try it again.
Yeah.
Oh. Better?
Yes.
Can you hear me now? Okay.
Yes.
Great.
Yeah.
I was wondering, for Genevieve, what led you to decide to go to law school?
Well, I've always been a legal enthusiast. Really, the truth of it was I was working, and then I became responsible for signing off on and approving the legal fees of the firms that we were utilizing. And I noticed the disparity in what they make and what I make. And then when I got to law school, I realized that was not the kind of law that interested me. So I'm very happy that was a motivating factor, but now I am very happy that I know that's not what I want to do.
It's like you bait and switched yourself.
It's a daily occurrence, Scott.
Okay. Right. Yeah. Do you have a sense of what kind of law you would like to practice, or
Nope.
You figured out what you don't want to do. You haven't narrowed down of the many things which one
Yes.
you want to do. Right.
Yes.
Gotcha. Okay.
Because there's so many interesting things. It's the law is a world unto its own, right?
It is. So yeah, I think law is really interesting, extremely interesting. So if I were to be a lawyer, I think I would be a corporate lawyer. No, I really would. I think I would be a corporate lawyer. I liked corporate law much better than litigation, because I thought I liked the idea of working with people to get things done. I didn't like the idea of fighting with other people. So, on the other hand, I didn't really. I mean, I liked it better than litigation, but it was a really low bar.
How long did you practice?
So I for 2 summers, and then I practiced for like a year and a half in grad school, doing like family law, divorces, child custody, things like that. And then, and since I started that documentary some clinic thing. I've been doing
Right.
regular law stuff. So not much, but enough to like know that wasn't my thing.
Maggie Boyaris, I can't seem to unmute you. Can you refresh? Oh, now you're unmuted, and the floor is yours. Hey,
Hi. Longtime fan, first time caller.
longtime Greek chorus member.
My question
though.
was about where all the cheese night. Yeah. But my question was about where all the cheese night images are coming from, because it struck me that this was like the original use of a Pinterest board, right? Somebody is somebody out there saving all the cheese board images, and then you're just pulling one every week? Because they're lovely.
These are all real cheese boards that I have personally prepared, and they are actually being served at the Wittes house every week for cheese night, and I'm mildly offended that there would be any doubt as to that.
Yeah, like what do you think wait, Maggie, what do you think we're doing here? Where you think like we're lying? Like we're like saying cheese night when it's not cheese night? Jesus.
I mean,
Maggie.
No, they're okay. I certainly don't serve that level and quality of cheese boards on a weekly basis. On occasion, I have been known to, but like such consistent production.
Well, I think you need to up your game on this. I mean, it's really not other people's problem that your cheese board game is deficient.
Okay.
To defend Maggie, this is tradition, and there's been a lot of practice.
That's right. There's been years and years of bullshit about cheese night. But by the way, I just do want to point out that this is the first time we have had a live chicken on in lieu of fun.
It's true.
Hello. In high school, it is a live chicken.
The Steve Martin jokes just write themselves.
Yeah.
What can you tell us about this live chicken?
I just grabbed it out of the yard. I don't know. Like absolutely nothing, actually. It's just a random chicken.
It's an adorable chicken.
And then
it's actually quite...
It's actually quite mangled. Like the beak is all screwed up and it's like got some mites on its head.
Does it have thoughts about cheese?
Yeah, right. Wait, can we see its beak?
Yeah, you can see its beak. That's its beak.
It is kind of messed up. Yeah.
Do the chickens
get a
often
different chicken, Kate?
I'll get another chicken for next time.
Do they often come inside the house?
They occasionally. Probably not that often.
On their way to the kitchen?
All right.
Okay, we're gonna go back. You're gonna go back. Okay, I'm gonna go off video again. You can take me off video.
Reverend Dr. Hillary Livingston, you have to now compete with a live chicken, so this better be good.
I don't know if I'm up for that. I do have my Cheez-Its.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if that violates the no cheese rule, but anyway, they're yummy.
No. If we, I bless this.
Thank you. I appreciate
that.
that.
You would understand like that. That's part.
So I have a special dispensation for the Cheez-It.
Yeah, right.
I appreciate that. Thank you, Scott.
I also want to point out that Cheez-Its, Alice, I don't think she's here, claimed recently on In Lieu of Fun that Triscuits are the best cracker, which is certainly among an arguably true statement. But Cheez-Its are one of the best bad crackers.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're not like socially presentable, but they're completely addictive, and you definitely get hooked on Cheez-Its. And so that's an argument against that point of Scott's.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna keep eating my Cheez-Its.
Yeah. Just no cheese night.
Right.
Yeah, no.
When I came in a little bit late today and I walked into Scott's PowerPoint and I felt like I came into like a presbytery meeting or something, that like maybe I needed to take minutes or something. But I hope I didn't miss important business.
You did, but
Okay.
you'll just get caught up later. But go ahead.
Okay.
Don't worry, I took notes.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah.
So my question, we were talking about the Olympics. What about in lieu of fun Olympics? And if we did that, what kind of events would we have?
I think that's a phenomenal idea.
Scott, you also thought Munch Night was a good idea.
No, I just to be clear, I thought Munch Week was a good idea.
Yeah,
Which turned out to be
I'm totally
like,
standing by Munch Week because I just finished my jar of roasted red peppers that I made using Genevieve's grandmother's recipe, and I have to say, it was worth all of Munch Week just to eat those peppers. So
They look
thank
mighty
you.
tasty.
totally defending Munch Week. And
okay,
yes,
well,
at Pet Noodle, Edvard Munch Week is an important thing too.
That's funny.
So, what do you have an event that you would recommend for in lieu of fun?
Olympics.
Olympics?
Maybe competitive cheese board design.
Ooh,
How
very
about
nice.
taunting Scott?
Oh, absolutely.
No.
That goes
No,
without saying.
No, that would be very bad. But I do like competitive cheese making. And that would be
another
really,
one.
Yeah, that would be really good. And then there could be the cracker competition, both bad and good cracker.
Crackers are very difficult to make.
So many options.
Also,
Yes,
pugilism week.
Oh, yeah.
Right, just basically pugilism.
Definitely.
Paula
Yeah,
points out that we could have Olympic weightlifting, except she would be the only one who participated in it.
There we go. She could get the de facto gold.
Can I change that category to bodybuilding? Because on a different technicality, I may win that.
There we go.
Well done.
Okay. No, that's right. I was a weightlifter back in the day, so I could participate too and have Paula beat me in a chorus on host emotional violence.
That sounds emotional violence. It always should be part of the Olympics, regardless.
I actually think there's not enough just like basic emotional violence in the Olympics. You know, like,
Yeah,
I
definitely.
dispute that. There definitely is.
Oh man, yeah. I mean, can we tell you, the best thing to happen from the Olympics? I mean, it was a terrible. I forgot that runner who was disqualified because she had tested for marijuana in her THC. Is it? I'm sorry. What's her name?
I think it's Sha'Carri, but I could be wrong.
Sha'Carri. So Claire Lehman, of Quillette, had this great tweet where she said that the fact that Sha'Carri had strong hair and strong fingernails was evidence of steroid use. And to me, that was like the best use of Twitter ever. Like, just to make up something that has nothing to do with anything that's racist, and then just put it out there, and then make it as a point of honor that you're not taking it down.
That's peak Twitter right there.
Yeah, that was peak Twitter. So that was the highlight of the Olympics for me.
Okay.
I really think emotional violence should be its own event at the Olympics.
Right. But it can't be easy. So you can't compete against your parents or something.
No, right. It's got to be a stranger. It's got to, a stranger from a different country who doesn't even speak your language.
That would be something.
Yeah, right.
And there's different events within it. It's like track and field.
Yeah.
There's the microaggression
There's a
category.
Yeah.
The mocking you with your own words category.
Right. What would be the uniform for that? Because there's been controversy over different uniforms and things. Like, would that be part of
what the other guy what the other guy's wearing, but ironically,
Right. Definitely.
Like,
For example,
to
the U.S. team would come in, and the Iranian team would come in wearing the U.S. team's uniforms. And that would be an example of how you do it.
Yeah. Lots of possibilities.
Right. Yeah, a lot of possibilities. It looks like Scott's frozen again.
That's too bad.
Ooh, Judy has a really good point. The passive aggressive, nothing, I'm fine. Yeah, that's
passive aggression should definitely be. That's an art form event, when it's done well.
I also liked Oblio's "How about the Olympic airing of grievances?" It reminds me of Festivus, which is one of my favorite holidays.
All right, thank you, Hillary.
Thank you,
Tony Kava. Whoa. That's pretty excellent.
Awesome.
It was the first time we've had
Hi, everybody.
It's the first time we've had a live chicken on the show, and it's the first time we've had a Muppet.
Yeah. Well, it's actually me. I'm just not feeling well. I'm waiting
don't violate HIPAA.
Oh, Tony, no.
Hoping it comes out. Hoping it comes out negative. Oh, it's okay. I don't mind. I'm owning this. I'm owning this for everyone. Just owning it. So, I just have to say, I've been called on the show to ask some extremely lame questions over the past year and a half.
But none lamer than this one.
Takes the cake.
Yeah.
None lamer than this one. So if you don't mind, I'd like to ask a different one, if that's okay. And
go for it.
This question is for Ben. This one's for Ben, but everyone can chime in with what they think. But now that Tamara is part of the Biden administration and obviously in charge, I'm just wondering how she addresses you and how you address her at home. And then I would just ask Genevieve and Scott to chime in with how they think Tamara should address you at home. And I'll take the question off the air. Thank you.
All right. Well, thanks. So Scott has vanished in a puff of smoke. Maybe he hasn't heard this, so that we won't have to engage. We can engage in less host-on-host humiliation violence. So first of all, Tamara is been nominated, but she has not yet been confirmed. And so we are, she is still for now a Brookings Scholar. We've decided that when she gets confirmed, I will address her as Madam Assistant Administrator. That's traditionally what you do in a when your spouse is in government.
Makes sense to me.
Fortunately, Scott is not here to respond to this. Maybe if we're lucky, he hasn't even heard it, which would be awesome. Meanwhile, let's
I don't know if we're that lucky.
let's change the subject. Paula, the floor is yours.
Well, I have downgraded since the last cheese board that I made. This is my cheese for today.
Paula, you and I are on the same page.
I'm just drinking scotch myself. I mean, the cheese is more mythological than...
My question was actually for Scott. Maybe by the time I finish answering it, or you guys could actually respond, because I think it is broad. Do you ever get frustrated by how little some people internalize or take seriously like very important ideas that you find like important to take seriously. I think there is an actual like theory behind this as well. Like when you find something to be super important, you realize how little people take it seriously. And Scott's back now.
He is.
Paula, just a quick clarification
Sorry
on
about
that.
this.
Is this the person internalizing their own, what they purport to be their philosophical beliefs, or is
Yes.
it your philosophical beliefs?
No, theirs.
Okay.
Do you want me to re-ask it in a better way? Okay. So Scott, my question is what do you think about how seriously people internalize or take seriously like the implications of philosophy? And what I mean by that is like, I see so many like pieces of wall art with philosophy on it. And it's just like, it's like been commercialized, right? It really does mean nothing. But at the same time, you know, there's great pieces of philosophy and art and literature. And I've read by Tolstoy, I think it's A Confession, and he takes his philosophical beliefs so seriously that he goes into a depression and contemplates suicide.
Yeah, and it's really frustrating when all those students with the Carl Schmitt, poster don't take the sovereign is he who defines the exception seriously in their own lives. I hate that.
Yeah,
I think what I mean though is it's like, take for example, like I think maybe AI. There's a lot of conversations with AI, and I think so many people throw out ideas about that, and they don't really think about how that would impact institutions. And I see so many people just throwing things out. Same thing with like religion or God. I don't want to like name people because that would be very mean. But there's very
HIPAA
famous
violation too.
Yeah, an
Exactly.
HIPAA violation. Yeah.
And they
Philosophy
do these.
is a health condition.
Yeah, right.
It is.
Well, it's the content of their minds. You can't. It's
But I wonder
invasive.
if you think there's a balance to that, because I do find it very annoying when people don't take seriously these ideas. But then when you take them too seriously, you do have people who wind up very depressed, thinking about very like meta ideas or contemplating life all the time.
Yeah, I would just say that I think it's a very, it's really hard when you're growing up and you're both on the one hand experiencing life and emotional growth and all the kind of heartbreaks that go along with it, and all the kind of search for autonomy from your family, from your school, from your community, and all that stuff, which is very emotionally taxing, and also interest in philosophical ideas and like the purpose and meaning of life. And the two things often get run together. So like it's on the one hand, like you have like a very tough relationship with your family, and then also like maybe the universe has no point to it. And so the two things get connected in people's minds, like, oh, the reason why I feel terrible is because the universe has no point. And the reason why that's really seductive is because, like, if the universe had no point, it might kind of suck. And so I think it's like really hard to like separate the two things, like to how much like philosophy is doing the work and how much philosophy is like kind of doing a cover for what's emotionally going on in your life. And it's kind of, it dresses it up a bit. I kind of feel like but anyway, I think often.
Massimo touched on this a little bit when he came on with kind of like the broicism. There is, I think, like some parts of philosophy that get taken and like contorted into these weird things, which I think might be on the opposite side of the spectrum of what you're talking about. I don't know if you agree with that.
Well, the broicism, you mean as to like what you ought to do in life, like kind of be utilitarian or something like that, or the broicism?
I mean, like the like motivation porn on like Twitter, or like the live, laugh, love thing. Like we're like philosophy kind of gets taken into this very like bite-sized, easily consumable,
Oh, I see. Oh, I see. But
commercialized thing.
I see. But like in some way, it's hard for me to imagine anything that's really academic philosophy being dumbed down enough that what remains is attractive. That is like the kinds of things that like so much that excite academics about philosophy tend not to be anything that like can be popularized. Like, so like in ethics, like how exactly do you make fictionalism about moral properties like sexy? It's kind of like,
Well,
I
you could make a podcast about jurisprudence.
no, that's true. But jurisprudence itself is just sexy. I'm not like adding anything.
I want to
I'm not.
speak up for a moment for pop philosophy, though,
Okay.
because I think it's easy to be contemptuous of it, and we have a running gag of contempt for it going in the Greek chorus right now. But I think a lot of motivational stuff moves a lot of people and probably helps a lot of people in their day to day lives think about things in more positive ways and more can do kind of ways. And, um, and I'm certain that pop psychology does that for a lot of people.
Yes,
And
but
so,
I guess
and so I don't like we shouldn't confuse it with an academic discipline, but if somebody is animated uh, by uh, easy to distill philosophical ideas that are maybe quite distant from where they originally came from, I think that's fine, and it's like it's nothing to be contemptuous of if people write something on a on the wall that's or on a poster on the wall that's ultimately from I don't know, from Sister Mary Corita, and it makes them feel good. I'm totally down with that.
Do you think though that they're internalizing? Like I'm thinking of the person on like their eighth, Tony Robbins, Jordan Peterson book saying that like this is like they're on the way to like manifesting whatever it may be. I think I don't know if you know the archetype that I'm referring to. I think Genevieve does, but I think that failure to internalize is annoying to me.
I think that part of that, though, too, and I can understand the frustration with that, particularly if it's aligning yourself, if what is being purported to be a philosophy is aligning with values that you hold very dear. But I think Scott said in a different conversation something to the effect of it's the mark of an educated mind to be able to have an argument or entertain a thought without accepting it. And I think that even if these things start as like an intro to any further thought that might be different from what the person grew up with, that's really important. And educating yourself and exposing yourself to those ideas is very important, especially for people who are particularly sheltered, because that's how we get a better pluralistic society. That's how we get better liberalism and more tolerance and encouraged to be together more wholly. That's my 2 cents.
We have got to wrap up, but I have an announcement to make before we do. I can't tell if Scott is frozen again. I think he is. Eventually, we're gonna have to like make Frozen 3 Scott. Uh, this morning, I revivified the In Lieu of Fun podcast feed. And I urge you all not to listen to it because you're the people who actually participate in the show live, but to share it because there are all these people out there who don't know about In Lieu of Fun, who don't participate live, who don't watch the YouTube, and you can help bring them into the light. And it's easier to get somebody to listen to a podcast than it is to get them to do something live. So every day I will be posting 2 episodes, the previous day's episode and season 1, which is the first, 350 episodes, the next one in that. So we're on episode 8 or 9. So when I tweet them, people, just share them, because, there are people in your Twitter feeds who need to know about In Lieu of Fun. So with that, I would have the live chicken sing us out today, except that she's disappeared with Kate. Scott has disappeared once again into his glass of sangria. No, Paula, I'm not singing today. I do sometimes sing on the show, but generally when it's somebody's birthday. We will be back 70 hours and 58 minutes from now, I think. And until then, Genevieve?
We don't have fun anymore, but in lieu of fun, we have the ability to have great conversation, cheese, with good friends who are near and far.
Grated cottage cheese, no less.
No, cream cheese.
That's
the illegal
cheese?
one. I think it's the
one
illegal
is
one.
grated cream cheese.
Yeah.
I did try to grate some cream cheese today.
How'd it go?
No, I didn't really.
Got so excited.
But I'm next time. I have a secret to grating cream cheese, which is freeze the cream cheese first. And next time we have Mike Chase on the show, I am totally going to freeze a block of cream cheese and grate it on the show for him, and then try to sell him some, and thereby commit a federal crime.
Oh man.
That'll be whenever it'll be. See you soon.